Yeah, it's going down, man. It's the Donnie Houston Podcast. I am Donnie Houston. Check it out, man. We got a very special guest today. Before I do that, let me remind everybody, man, check out the new website, DonnieHoustonWorld.com. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're watching and you're not a subscriber. Subscribe to the channel, turn your alerts on so you catch everything, you know what I mean? Check out the website, DonnieHoustonWorld.com. Pick you up the new DH logo. Pre-order the new DH logo t-shirts. We got them in black, red, purple, and blue. But, hey, man, we got a real special guest today. Man, it's crazy, man, how this thing be working out, man, because I had this guy on my list of people that I wanted to holler at and actually go down to the town and get the real thing, man, from the people down there, man. But today I got a real special guest, man. Big Smoking Mitch.
Yes, sir.
Mitchell Queen.
Yes,
you know what
sir.
I'm saying? Representing UGK, man, one of the original founding members
Yes,
of the Underground Kings, man. What's going down?
Man, everything groovy, baby. You know what I'm saying? Just working and working, you dig?
Yeah.
Trying to get it, you know what I'm saying? Steady grinding, trying to stay on top of things, you know what I mean?
For sure. So, man, what's new with you, man?
Oh, man, so much stuff going on, man. I have, well, let's just start from the top. My first album is called Big Mitch is Still Smoking. I don't know if too many people know about it, but I think that was 2020. It's probably 2013.
18, huh? Somewhere 13 or
13, I think it was, if I'm not mistaken. That was the first one. And my second one is Big Mitch is the Foundation. 2018. It's been out, it'll be 2 years, August 13th. And it's been doing pretty good. People been checking it out. It's just with the streaming thing that's going on with these whole ass record companies, man. They always try to find a way to fuck over the artists.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You just can't be genuine for shit. So they take the game.
What kind of issues you been having with it, man, with the streaming and all that, man?
It's more of right now, like, money been tight, so I don't have the budget that I actually need to keep everything going the way it need to go. But even with that being said, you have cats that's putting money into these streams and they still not getting the money that they supposed to get out of them. You can pay some people to do this and pay some people to do that, and then when it get down to the nitty gritty, the money funny. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of the times I just try to crawl until I come into a walk, until I come into a nice little trot.
Yeah.
Just take my time, man, learn what I need to learn, because I don't like to just throw my music out there, for the vultures to eat up.
Yeah.
If I can't eat off of it, then I just as well keep that shit to myself. You know what I mean? But at the same time, there's always more than one way to skin a cat. So, I have some other things going on. I'm about to drop a special project that Chad and I did back in 89, 90. And, I am the archives of the group and mostly of Port Arthur, so I keep everything. You know what I'm saying? So that's going to be a great project. It's finished, it's done, it's mastered. Just getting the outs and ends taken care of right now, you know. And I guess maybe about another month or two, it'll be out, and I'm only dropping that on album. You know what I'm saying, on vinyl, because vinyl that made a great comeback.
Yeah.
For me, it never went anywhere. I always loved vinyl before I love anything else. But it's outselling everything right now, and I feel like with this project that Chad and I did, before him and Bun was UGK, I believe it's going to be a very, very big project, man, because people be looking for some of the old music that we've done, and I've been telling people that I was gonna drop some things. So it's about that time now, cause it was in '89, '90, so it's 30 years.
30 years, yeah.
You know, so it's time.
Yeah. That's what's up, man. So let's just go back a little bit, man. 'Cause, I
Yeah.
mean, you talk about '89, man, early in the game doing the music thing, man. But tell me about PA, the scene, how y'all was coming up around this time, and just what even influenced y'all, to even get into the music and all that.
Influences was definitely East Coast cats. You know, you talk about Run DMC. That was Pimp's favorite group. Run was his favorite rapper. You know what I'm saying? LL Cool J. James Tar Smith. That's my.
That's who you was messing with.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? That was my thing. I tried to follow that, you know what I'm saying? And Public Enemy, KRS-One, Houdini, you know what I'm saying? Fat Boys, just everybody basically that had some type of name on the East Coast, we were listening to, and we wanted to emulate those cats. And that's what started us for wanting to do it. But as far as the scene is concerned, it wasn't much of a scene then, because we were in like high school, junior high school doing this shit. And, it was cool just to do, on the weekends or whatever, or you see in the hallways at lunchtime or some shit like that, it was cool to do. But as far as Southern cats making money off of it, it hadn't been heard yet. It hadn't been
Ghetto
heard
Boys hadn't hit. It wasn't,
Not yet. You know what I'm saying? And they were coming up, I remember like their first song, Car Freak.
Car Freak, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it took me probably a year to even hear that. But Chad had heard it, and he played it for me, and I was like, yeah, man, shit, if they can do it, damn it, we sure can do it. You know what I mean?
So it was the Ghetto Boys that sparked that idea of like, well, shit, if they right here in Houston, we in PA,
yeah,
it's possible for us to do this
definitely.
thing.
They were the ones that I was like, okay, we can do that too. You know what I'm saying? If not better, sometimes. So that's what sparked Chad and I to say, okay, let's see what we can put together and make some things happen. But it wasn't much of a scene. They had maybe a few groups that was, younger than us, a couple of groups that was a little bit older than us, like the Fresh Four. That was DMD's group, and he had a few fellas, T Screw and a couple of other fellas, that was down with them. Charmy C, rest in peace. But as far as a big scene, nah, it wasn't a big scene at all, because it wasn't cool to rap. You know what I'm saying? They wasn't digging that at all, man. Only a few people that was into rap at the time was checking for us. It was mostly R&B, man. You know how that go.
Yeah. Everybody want to sing. Everybody, yeah. So, okay, tell me this. Tell me about a young Pimp C. Cause if you had to describe like a young kid Pimp C, like how would you describe Pimp C as a kid and shit? Like when y'all first started kind of kicking it.
Pimp, well, I really didn't call him Pimp. I called him Chad. Pimp didn't come till later on.
Yeah.
He was MCC.
MCC, yeah.
And I was MQJ. And, we were just some cats, man, he was in the band, and we was both in choir. I played football and basketball. And
Pimp wasn't in athletics or nothing like that?
No, man, Pimp, he didn't even like to dress out in PE class. You know what I'm saying? My old man was the coach at Woodrow Wilson, the junior high school we went to. And, he told Chad, say, man, just put your shorts on, sit on the side, I'll give you a C, you'll pass. You know what I'm saying? So now Pimp wasn't trying to do nothing physical, none of that, man. I know why. but I ain't gonna say it. I'll tell you later.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't think the women would want to know that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Nothing bad, but you know, still some things, you know, gotta say for the things.
For sure.
But he was a cool dude, man. Always his mom worked in the school district. His stepdad worked in the school district. His real father was a musician. So, like him, I was around music all the time too. I have a very musical family. So, music is definitely what brought us together. And he was just a regular kid, just like I was, just loving music, getting into hip hop, you know, trying to find ourselves and find an identity. You know what I'm saying? Just a real cool cat.
Yeah. So when and when y'all first, what's the first group y'all formed? Is it Mission Impossible or something like that?
Yes, Mission Impossible was our first group.
And y'all were two men?
Yeah, it was me and him. Uh, you know, with that, you know, Mission Impossible came about because we were in a group called the Hardy Boys, which was, you know, myself, Chad, Boomtown, and my homeboy Harley T, and our DJ Colonel Rock. It was Arsenal is his name. And one summer, they Harley and Boom decided that they was gonna go to California, and we was supposed to make music that whole summer, try to make, you know, get a demo tape together so we could send out. So they decided to go to Cali for the summer. And, you know, Boom was like, hey man, y'all ain't gonna be able to do nothing without us, no way. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, oh yeah? I said, okay, all right. So that was like him booting up to like, you can't do nothing without us. So I was like, okay, well, look here. I say, Chad, that's what he think? I say, okay, we gonna put a whole demo tape together this whole summer, me and you. You know what I mean? And that's where the name Mission Impossible came from. I came up with that because your nigga was saying we couldn't do it. You know what I'm saying? So Mission Impossible became our first group together. And plus, you know, they had the old school shows that was called Mission Impossible. So I thought that would go real cool with what we were going through. Plus the name, when people hear the name, if they don't think of nothing else, they'll think of the old show. You know what I'm saying? So that was our first group together, Mission Impossible.
Yeah. So when you're doing Mission Impossible, where is like Bun and like all the people that he's in the rap group at the time? Like,
Bun
what's the scene like?
Wasn't around yet. He was down with some other crews, you know, in town, like with my homeboy Ricky Johnson, Randy Johnson, Sylvester Vital. These cats, you know, he was rapping with them. They had a crew too. I'm sorry, fellas, I forget what y'all name was. You know, my mind slipped me every now and then. But he was down with another crew, and we heard some things that he did, and you know, by far, to me and to Chad, not taking anything from the other brothers, he was the one that stuck out like a sore thumb. So, you know, at that time we had just heard of him. You know, I didn't really meet Bun until high school.
Cause he was a little older than y'all, right? Like
Well, Bun was born in '72, and I was born in '73, February of '73, and Pimp was born in December of '73. I think Bun's birthday is in March.
It's in March. Yeah, I want to say it's in
I think
March.
so. And so I do call him Big Brother, you know, but he was in the same grade we were in, you know, and like I say, he was doing this thing with them, and he had heard us, they had heard us, they knew about what we were doing. because we sold our demo tapes and stuff out of our lockers. Gave a lot of them away. And
Is Pimp making beats at this time?
oh yeah. Pimp always did do beats, man. That was something that he loved doing, and he was the reason behind the sound that we had. The experimenting and the things that worked and the things that didn't work. He was the man behind all of that, and he's always been a producer that had a lot of keen ideas. You know what I mean? He would say, man, let's try this, let's try that. And it'd be like, well, we ain't got no rules, let's try it. So that's how a lot of our sessions went, man. He might have had a beat that he had done maybe that week or something, and he'd put it on, and we sit there, and we vibe and freestyle with each other, and and we come up with a concept. A lot of the times, he would give me a few beats on tape, and we would come up with ideas like that. He might come up with an idea for one of the beats. I might come up with an idea, and we just run from there. Drop it. If it's jamming, it's jamming. If it's not, we scrap it and do something else. That was the formula. You know what I'm saying? Most of the time when we wrote, we was right in the same room together. Sometimes, like I say, he would have something, I would have something, and then we would just go from there.
So when do y'all become? Is it 4 Black Ministers?
Yeah.
That was the next group.
Yeah. 4BM was really after the DMI crew, which is another crew that I came up with a lot of cats. You remember, that picture that we took on the
wall? Yeah.
Wall? Mm-hmm. That's the whole crew.
That's the DMI crew.
Yeah. Okay. That's Dangerous Music Incorporated, which at the time I didn't know that Short had a company named Dangerous Music Incorporated. So when we found out, when he came up with Freaky Tales, we found that out. So DMD had an idea of changing it to Def Music Incorporated. But even after the name change, it didn't last that long. But the DMI crew was Booney Loke, this albino cat named Q-Tip. His real name was Daryl Zeno. We had Boom, which his name at the time was MC Boom. Christy Floyd, her rap name was KLC, female MC. Tat and Dave was our dancers. Lee Master was one of our MCs also. And I believe DMD, of course, the DJ. And I believe that's everybody.
Yeah. And from my understanding, like DMD was kind of like the guy. He was like the music guy kind of at the time.
Yeah, I mean, we really looked up to D, man, because, like I said, D had a crew way before we did. You know what I'm saying? And we looked up to him because he did some good music. And at the time, he was...
Are y'all all around the same age, or he like a little older than y'all?
He's older.
Okay.
D is like... what's that? 88? 88?
Class 88? Okay.
Yeah. And, he had, like I say, his crew, and he did music for other cats. And one thing that made us really pay attention to him was the fact that when he did his production, it was crystal clear. So he knew how to engineer also, besides just making beats and being a DJ. And that was a plus for us. We was like, man, we need to get this guy down with us some kind of way so that our music could come out sounding as clear as his. And we it's like we quoted him, just quoted him for a while and like, hey man, look, can you do this? Can you do that? First we just started out, hey, let's engineer this session. He didn't mind doing that. Hey, this what you're doing wrong. This what you do. Say, oh yeah, do this and do that. And Chad was paying attention. So he liked what we was doing, and he came on in. And then the other people that he was dealing with that I mentioned, we brought all of them in and just say, hey, let's make one big crew. And especially nobody in Port Arthur was doing that. And a lot of people in the industry hadn't done that yet either. The only crew that I can remember that was a crew around that time was First Priority Records had a crew with a bunch of New York MCs in it. And I forget the name of that crew, man, but the only and another crew would have been the Juice Crew.
Juice Crew, yeah.
With Cold Chillin' Records with Marley Marl now. So we were taking after them like, hey man, let's just we got two good producers. Let's just let the producers produce everything for the acts. And we didn't know. I mean, we was doing exactly what they were doing. But it was a good thing because it showed that even though we didn't have all of the information from what was going on the East Coast, we was doing it anyway, just by coming up with ideas and say, hey man, this'll work and that'll work. So that's how we did it. We put it together. We let them do beats, engineer the shit, and it came out the way it needed to come out.
Yeah. So I mean that crew, like you said, it didn't last too much longer after y'all changed the name. What happened with the disband?
One time, man, we were getting together, putting a demo together to send to Priority Records in Wild Pitch. And I did not know that D had already sent a tape to one of those companies, and he came to us and said that he was going to basically break up the group, and the people liked Lee Master, so he was gonna have Lee, he was gonna do Lee shit or whatever, and he say after we do that, then I'll come back and get everybody else, which he didn't have the authority to do in the first place. He was just the DJ and one of the producers. Chad.
There was no leader in the group.
It wasn't no absolute leader. The only thing that I said was, look, we can all put our heads together. It don't need to be an absolute leader. But at the same time, I would look at myself as being the ones that would be a leader because I came up with all the names and all the cats that was rapping, So I was like, well, what authority do you have to break the group up? You know what I'm saying? If you just want to leave and do your own thing, just say that, And we were in high school, man. Pimp was a freshman in high school when that happened. I was a sophomore, and D was
probably like a senior.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, okay, well, go on and do what you need to do. But that Monday when we got back to school, and I told Chad what was happening because he was out of town, and I told Chad what was happening. He was upset.
Was Chad always live like how he was like later on when he got older and shit? Like. If you
forward speaking,
no.
Chad wasn't like that at all. Very mild mannered. He and I were like birds of a feather. Both of us was very mild mannered. Didn't get into it with nobody. We always stayed to ourselves. We was always together. And the breakup of us that really hurt him. You know what I'm saying? And with that breakup started something in him that started changing his personality.
So that's when he starts becoming the
Yeah,
pimp.
you know what I'm saying? He started coming into his own, so to speak. You know what I mean? So it was like after that happened, we had to come up with another name for the group. And
it's still all y'all. It's just DMD took this other guy and they went where they were. But
it was still all of us for a while. You know what I'm saying? But the other cats, they thought, well, if D left, it ain't no more crew. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody was looking up to D because he was the oldest. You know what I mean? So we was like, nah, we can't just stop. You know, so one day as we were trying to find our identity again, you know, we didn't want to use the Mission Impossible name. So we had to come up with another name for me and him. And one day I came up with a song called Underground King. And the reasoning behind the song was, well, you know, we were selling our demo tapes out of our lockers, like I said, and giving a lot of them out. You know, we also went to Louisiana a lot, Crowley and Lafayette, and different places around that area. And Chad had family out there. You know, his grandmother lived in Crowley. So we would go out there pretty often, especially during the summertime, you know. And sometimes we'd go out there and we would hear our music playing in the parks out there. So I was thinking about that, and I said Underground King, and I did a verse to it, and I told him about it. So of course I came up with the first verse, and but Chad's verse ended up being the first verse because his verse sounded like a first verse. So he came up with the song. Well, I came up with the song. He came up with his verse. I came up with mine. And then one day, as I was at my mom's pad, I was sitting thinking about it, and it just dawned on me and say, well, that'll be a cool name for a group. You know what I'm saying? So that hit me. I'm at my mom's pad, and I called him at his mom's pad, and he answered the phone. I said, Underground Kings was the first thing I said. He said, what? I say, Underground Kings, that should be our name, UGK. He was like, Mitch, that's it. That's it right there. And that's how UGK was born. This was probably January of 1990.
1990.
Yeah, going into 90. You know what I'm saying?
Early 1990, we get the UGK name. But y'all end up becoming the Four Black Ministers, though. Y'all get away from that and go into the Four Black Ministers.
Yes, the Four Black Ministers, because, you know, Bun was coming in the picture. We was adding him to a couple of songs. Like the first Tell Me Something Good, nobody has really heard that except maybe a few people from Port Arthur, you know, or a few hardcore fans that might have found, you know, airy demo tapes of it, you know what I mean? But that first UGK song, Underground King and Tell Me Something Good, was basically the second one we did, and we asked Bun to rap on the song with us. And that was definitely 1992. That was 90. So we did that. Of course, you know, me and Chad did our thing with that album. We was doing it between 89 and 90. and Bun made the cut for that project.
So he just did that particular record. He just did Tell Me Something Good.
Yeah. And little did we know that was going to be,
The smash.
a precursor
Yeah.
to what was getting ready to happen. You know what I'm saying? God at this time is working out some things that we didn't know he was working out. That whole year 90, man, we were in and out studios out here in Houston, man, and Russell was behind us at the time.
Wait. So what year do y'all meet Russell? Let's talk about that.
Let's see. The Southern Way came out in 92.
92, yeah.
So my senior year was 91. So I believe we met Russell early 91 maybe. They might have, Bun, I think, knew Russell already. So we were trying to do the Tell Me Something Good song between all of us. Me, Bun, and Chad. Now, Jalon, at the time, he had then dropped out, and he was like, okay, I'm supposed to concentrate on football, because he had a good prospect of getting a scholarship. So we let him do his thing, gave him the blessing, let him do his thing. And that summer, man, we was coming out here, man, trying to get that shit done, and man, people burning us left and right. And by the time my senior year came, I'm doing damn good in football too, because that's my thing, football and basketball. So my graduation comes, I'm supposed to get a scholarship from Prairie View. And, if I'm going to save my mom and daddy some money to go to school, that's what I'm going to do. So I talked to Chad about it, and, he was okay with it. And, one day he called me at my mom's pad again. He was like, man, I'd like Bun to take your place. Why you gone? I say, well, yeah, that would have been the person I would have suggested anyway. So gave him the blessing on that. And, 91 fall season going into Prairie View, Bun and Pimp became what everybody know as UGK. And he asked me for the name too. He was like, man, two black ministers wasn't gonna work. And of course, that sounds corny. 2BM now. 4BM, I don't know what it is about the 4, but the people like the name. But me and Jalon concentrating on shining with this football. Not that we didn't want to rap anymore. It was just
it's a hell of an opportunity, man.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Hey, who wouldn't do that? You know what I mean? So went on and did that, man, and Bun and Chad became what everybody knows as UGK. And this is the crazy thing that happened. They fucking with Russ now. And then the shit started acting, everything started coming into place, fucking with Bernie and Shatoro out here, actually doing the goddamn shit, and it was coming out the way it was supposed to come out. I'm at school, I'm keeping in touch.
Are you at this time? Are you enjoying college, or are you kind of like, man, this is cool, but damn, they really kind of making this rap shit work? Like,
the experience of college is, you can't
put a price on that.
Nah, you can't. Yeah. I enjoyed every second I was up there at Prairie View, man. And, Chad came up and visited me a couple of times. It wasn't like, man, I wish I would have
You
made
didn't feel
the
like you was
decision
missing
to stay.
out.
Oh
Yeah,
no. Never did I feel that at all, because like I said, we had already talked about it, and I gave them the blessings to go on and do it. And then, one day I'm walking on the yard, and God just say, "Hey man, I'm working it out," and I'm like, "Yeah, you are. It's supposed to be the way that it is, and that's just what it was, man. I didn't question it. It's a feeling that you get when God is talking to you. You by yourself, and you thinking about things, and God just say, "Hey, I'm
Give that
working it out."
reassurance.
Yeah, and it was never no jealousy, no envy, none of that, man. Because those are my brothers. I never looked at it like that, And by time, '92 came along, and it's February 11th on my birthday. That's when the Southern Way dropped, and from, like I said, in '91, that summer, wasn't shit working right, But I go to college, Jalon in his senior year in school, they gonna do what they gotta do. Shit started going right. So I mean, that's just was God's plan, man. That's all that was, and it was a beautiful thing.
Yeah. I was PV, you know what I'm saying, playing football at PV and shit.
Man, that was a corrupt program. I won't mention no names, but the coaches were corrupt.
Corrupt in what ways? What you mean?
They were doing, some of them doing street shit. Some of them running fraud games. And first of all, when I got there in '91, they was just getting a football program back after a few years. So the scholarships that they was talking about was all bullshit. Fake letters of intent. Yes, sir. And
wait. So they tell you you're gonna get a scholarship. You get the PV and you find out there's no scholarship, or it's not as much money. It's no scholarship. No shit.
And
how did you get away with this type of move though? Because this is, some serious shit. You send a kid off to college and tell him it's straight, everything paid for, and you get there and that ain't
what
the
deal. It was they wanted top students, athletes from different schools from Lincoln, and these cats that I went there with, we all had great grades. So what they were doing, they was calling the scholarships
athletic, and it was academic.
Yes. There you go.
Gotcha.
Took the words right out of my mouth. Absolutely, man. And the crazy thing about it was, even like I was going there for business management. Business management didn't have no money in the program. So my first 2 semesters, I had to go to agriculture because that's where the money was. So here it is. I'm in a goddamn agriculture class.
This ain't what you. This
is not what the fuck I'm here for, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you can imagine, young
that shit frustrating, man.
Yeah, and then you like, man, fuck that. You stop going to class and shit, and you end up flunking. You know what I mean? It was very discouraging, man. So you dealing with that, and then you going to football practice, and you got these coaches, doing some dumbass shit with the players. Like one coach wanted to buy some rims from one of the players. You know what I'm saying? So the players sell the nigga the rims. You know what I'm saying? Okay, fine. Then the nigga gets somebody to steal the rims back.
What?
Man, like I say, it was some bullshit going on.
God,
Niggas smoking weed in the goddamn offices, man. You walking through the hallway to practice in the dome, and you smell nothing but weed coming out the coach's office.
No shit.
Yeah, it wasn't right.
Damn.
You know what I'm saying? So why would I stick around for some shit like that and I come from a pretty decent program with Coach Washington? You know what I'm saying? And he didn't even, that's his alma mater. The motherfucker didn't even warn us. He had no idea. I guess he didn't have no idea that was going on. But it was going down, man. Them coaches was doing their thing. They didn't give a fuck about no players. They could care less. Because they knew there wasn't no money to be had in it. And it's the first year back. Shit, they didn't win.
They get away without kind of, yeah.
They didn't win a game for 5 years.
Yeah.
So I would have been there a whole 4 years not winning a game. Come on, man. No. Who does? No.
Yeah.
Couldn't be the kid.
Yeah.
Me.
Yeah. So, all right. So you do it. So you do a year at PV.
I did 2 years.
2 years. Okay. So you do 2 years at PV. And now we in 93?
Yeah.
94. So they working on like Super Tight and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Do you kind of come back into the fold, or like what you doing when you leave PV?
I always stayed in touch with Chad, of course.
So you were always close to the Chad. Chad was more so.
Oh yeah. Now, like I say, Bun and I didn't meet until high school, and he was in the Summit program. He was going to Thomas Jefferson. I was going to Lincoln High School. So Lincoln High School had the Summit program. So they would bus the smarter kids from Thomas Jefferson to Lincoln so that they can partake into the Summit program. That's how I met Bun. Like I said, I'd heard him rap and all this others, but I had met him in high school. I guess this would probably be my sophomore, junior year I met Bun.
But you've been knowing Pimp this whole time, like elementary school, middle school, how early?
Junior high.
Junior high, yeah.
Yeah, and I introduced Chad and Bun. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I was meeting up with Bun at the Summit, and Chad was in the band hall. So I was telling Chad, hey man, I done met Bun and everything. I'm supposed to, put us all together and make some things happen. And that's how all that happened.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Man, okay, so boom, they working on Super Tight, everything like that. Tell me, what you kind of get into once you leave.
Too
PV.
Hard to Swallow was late '92, and I was on a song called "Groupies," but that session, Russell didn't pay for that session. So the song never came out. Jamming song, and like I say, it didn't make it, but that album was special because a lot of that album had already been done. A lot of the beats and everything for that album had already been done. And of course, Bernie and Shatoro, they took it upon themselves to change some of Chad's shit, so that they can get points from Jive, behind our back. After we leave, they go in there and change some shit.
Just to get the credit for what they
did. You know what I mean? The dirty game, you know what I mean? But, I remember buying that CD, myself, and listening to it all night. And I Feel Like I'm the One That's Doing Dope was my favorite song off of that album. I know I probably listened to that all night until my Walkman went out, my CD shit. But that was the first one. But that Super Tight album, man, that motherfucker there, bro.
Yeah. Talk about it, man. Around that time, man, just what was going on with the group and y'all and everything, and just where they were.
I would always come back to PA, and I'd let him know I'd be getting ready to come in, and I'd go fuck with him on San Jack at his house. And of course, we had the pre-production and shit all over there. And we had budgets that Jive had gave us, which wasn't much of shit. But Chad was very very savvy, man, at the things that he put together, and he used like different players that played different instruments. You know, like the bass player from the Meters, you know, Leo Nesatelli. You know, Chad liked the Meters shit, you know, and if I'm not mistaken, the Meters were from New Orleans. So, you know, it was gonna cost a lot of money to get those samples cleared. So Chad was like, well, shit, why don't we just get the player itself and pay him to play all his shit, and it will be a whole lot cheaper, and we wouldn't be busting our budget from Jive, which wasn't much anyway. So he ended up having Mr. Nesatelli play on most of that album, especially on the songs that were the Meter songs, and he also got an organ player, which I forget his name, but he had the Hammond organ in the house. You know what I'm saying? Plus the keyboards and everything, the drum machines. He had all this shit in the house. All of this is pre-production. And I would go, man, and sit there and listen to all this shit going on. And it was blowing my mind because I hadn't seen it. You know, I hadn't seen him deal with, you know, the musicians on that level, like, you know, Mr. Nesatelli, Mr. Leo, I want you to play, you know, what you play for, you know.
He's in there producing them.
Yeah. You know, this is what I want you to play. This is what I want you to play. And what they would do is they would let them play whatever it is they're going to play. And it's just like a record. You know, if you get a record and you listen to the parts that you want to sample, you sample that part. So all he did was let the musicians play, and whatever part he wanted to sample, that's what he sampled. You know, you got the musicians playing for 6, 7, 8 minutes. You know, you just go through the song, see what you want. Yeah. And it's the same shit, and you ain't got to pay for no sample because you done already played the musicians. You know what I'm saying? So that's what was going on with Super Tight. That's why Super Tight.
It was a step up, man.
Oh yeah, no doubt about it. Yeah. No doubt about it. It was a step up, man. Really and truly, you had other groups trying to do the same thing, but not like he was doing it. You know, and a lot of people started taking a look at what he was doing. Hey man, how his shit sound like that? You know, and you know, everybody wasn't utilizing the organ like he was utilizing it. It was up front and, you know, loud, you know what I'm saying?
Right there. Yeah, you knew that organ was in there. Yeah.
And that was one of his trademarks. It became one of his trademarks. And to have that big ass organ in that house, man, and hearing that shit coming out of a house, man, it blew my mind, man. I saw that, it blew my mind. And that's why Super Tight was so big. It's still my favorite album. You know, and I was on a song on that album called Weed Weed that never came out.
Weed, yeah.
You know, and
yeah.
I got plans for that.
That's too. On is it Weed or Chiba or something like that?
Yeah, it's Weed.
That's I want to say that's on YouTube, man. Somebody got a version.
It might, YouTube. I'm sure it is that version of the first song, Underground Kings. It's on there.
It's a record Pimp had called Menage a Trois.
Menage a Trois. That didn't make the cut on Super Tight. The sample. It was because the Isley Brothers at the time, they were in court trying to get the rights to their music. And that's why none of the Isley Brothers samples that we used for that album, you know, they didn't make the cut. That's only because I think even then Ronald Isley had heard of us and I mean shit, that's one of our favorite groups, the Isley Brothers. His was the Isley Brothers, mine was Frankie Beverly and Mays.
Can't go wrong either way, boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so okay. Now y'all now then they come into the Ridin Dirty and you made that album.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about that, man, because that's the UGK got a lot of classic albums, but if you say, man, I can only give one classic, everybody gonna say Ridin Dirty.
Yeah, most of the people are definitely gonna say Ridin Dirty. Ridin Dirty, man, to me, as making it, I was still in Port Arthur. I was going to school at Lamar at the time. So I was there while a lot of that album was being made. 3 a.m, Sergio from the Raw Flush did that cut. And the first thing he told me was like, Mitch, you ain't got to worry about not making the album this time because this song don't have no samples in it. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, cool, And February 10th of, the album came out in 96. February 10th, 96, I, right there on Fry Road at Skip Holman's studio, dropped that, and Bun played it for me. Chad, he was there, but Bun played the song for me. And I went outside by the pool and wrote the verse and did what I had to do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Chad kind of coached me through a couple of things. And him, as like that song, me, him, and Bun did the chorus. You can hear Bun really under the bass, doing the bass part on that chorus, and me and Chad doing the high parts. So that was like saying, all three of us, like from the first Tell Me Something Good song, here we go with 3 in the morning. Yeah. And it just felt good, man, because I was rapping with my brothers. At the time, money, I wasn't even thinking about money. You know what I'm saying? I was like, okay, let's do this song, make it as dope as we can. And we did, and a lot of people have told me that that's their favorite song on the album. Well, and that, that's cool. I appreciate that, And February 11th was, of course, that's my birthday. The next day, Skip had already mixed the song, man. Went there and listened to it. It was good, man. And that whole album.
Classic, man,
Yeah,
top to
bro.
bottom, man. God
yes, sir.
damn,
Yes,
man.
sir. Ain't no doubt about it, bro.
Classic, man. So okay. Tell me, cause you were saying, like, tell me about like Pimp and Bun and like how they kind of growing into themselves at this time. Cause you saying Pimp kind of started off, he was more kind of on the chill side, laid back, not really. But at this time, he's like full blown Pimp C. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah. Chad and Bun, that's yin and yang. As brothers in a family of actual brothers, you're not gonna always see eye to eye. You're going to bump heads a few times, and it happens. But when you're early on in your career, you can pull yourselves to the side and talk about things. As you start to grow and your popularity starts to grow, more people come into the circle, you know, and a lot of people start coming in and stirring up shit, you know. So some of those things happen, but for the most part, you know, they stayed focused. You know, they didn't allow the outsiders to come in and fuck everything up. You know, but there were outsiders, you know, in each other's ear, you know, talking to them or whatever. But like I say, for the most part, they stayed solid. And, you know, I would always tell them, look, man, I'm proud of y'all of what y'all doing. You know, at this time, DMD and was doing their thing too. You know,
because DMD started. That's when he kicked off his solo career with the So Real and all that. Now he's becoming,
right. So, you know, PA is getting a nice little buzz. But of course, you know, everybody still looking at Bun and Pimp, you know, as the ones that's coming out of, you know, PA. And as they grew through the time and through the albums, they grew a lot closer because they were becoming more mature. They were becoming more men than boys. So they didn't let a whole bunch of shit get between them because they knew if it did happen, it would fuck everything up for everybody. So for the most part, they didn't allow that shit to happen, you know. But as time goes on, things change. You know, but for the most part, man, they were solid, man, and genuine love. You know what I'm saying? Like I say, differences are gonna always be there. But brothers, genuine brothers from other mothers, man, that's how all of us were. And I always was like, look, man, if y'all got some type of shit that y'all got to, you know, talk out, get away from everybody. And y'all sit down like men and talk it out, because if it's just y'all, you know, you can drop your egos and all this shit, you know, because you have people around, you know, you go, oh, I gotta save face. You know what I'm saying? I gotta do this, I gotta do that, because I gotta look like this. No, you get yourself to the side, y'all get together, you talk the shit out, and make it do what it's supposed to do, man. You know, and for the most part, that's what they did.
Yeah. So are you? I mean, because you get on the Ridin Dirty album. Are you having rap aspirations again at this time, or you was like, hey, I just did something with my boys?
I've never stopped rapping. Even when I went to school,
still rapping.
I was always rapping, bro. Always. I mean, because like I said, I would go home and I would get instrumentals from Chad. You know, hey man, you got some instrumentals for me to fuck with? Yeah, man, give me some instrumentals, man. And I'd go to Prairie View, man, and get to writing shit. Sometimes I'd be to wrote some shit, and I'd be rapping and shit, and I'd be rapping it on his answering machine. You know what I mean? Whole song on his answering machine, you know. I mean, I never stopped rapping, man. You know, it was a misconception with Chad at one point, as if, you know, I didn't want to do it anymore. But that was never the point. You know what I'm saying? All I know is God had his plan for what was supposed to happen, and it happened. You know, so that's what that was, man. I never stopped rapping. I you know, solo shit. You know, I was always thinking, hey, you know, let's do this, man. Maybe me and Bun and Chet, we can do some other shit, you know, that nobody know nothing about right now until it's time to do it. You know, we always trying to think ahead. You know what I mean? But yeah, I never stopped rapping, man. I always, from the inception, I never quit.
Yeah.